Welcome all of you to this issue of Science Magazine. Department of Science and Technology is implementing Science and Heritage Research Initiative SHRI since 2019 to preserve, promote and propagate Indian heritage SHRI at global platform. An event was celebrated by SHRI division of DST on 16th December 2024 at Mahika Hall, Prithvi Bhavan, New Delhi to mark the completion of its successful 5 years in gracious presence of Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Union Minister of State, Independent Charge for Science and Technology. Professor Abhay Karandikar, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, in his welcome address said,
"It is my great privilege and honor to welcome all the distinguished guests, scientists, researchers, heritage specialists, and all the scholars who have been working in this niche area for this momentous occasion to commemorate 5 years of this important initiative, that is Science Heritage Research Initiative. As all of you know that our country has been known globally for its extensive geographical, cultural and linguistic diversity, and which makes it exceptional worldwide, and we call it incredible India. But India also has rich intellectual heritage in Vedic times, not only in arts and culture, but also in sciences, particularly in astronomy, in chemistry, in material science, in architecture, and of course in Ayurveda, as all of you know. The SHRI program was initiated 5 years back. Vision to emphasize the interdisciplinary cutting-edge research, and also to initiate the evidence-based research to demonstrate and establish the facts in our ancient texts. Over the 5 years, we have sponsored many research programs across academic institutions, universities, and also the research labs. We also initiated in the DST a SHRI cell on the 75th Independence Day. We have set up 4 centers of excellence. One is in IIT Madras, which is Indian Heritage in Digital Space. Another one is in CSIR's IHPT lab in Traditional and Contemporary Foods, and in the CSIR CBRI for the Indian heritage structures, particularly looking at the architectural aspects, and Digital Takshashila at IIT Hyderabad. There are several other projects are going on. One of the most important project has been this developing the Sanskrit dictionary in Deccan College in association with CDAC. This is one of the largest dictionary projects, I should say, and where the DST's support has been to digitize this entire dictionary. We are here to celebrate not only the achievements of the various projects which were sponsored, but also undertake discussions and deliberations in a brainstorming session to see how to take this program further and how to strengthen these initiatives, and we will look forward also to the guidance and suggestions from the Honorable Minister. As we embark on this journey, may the ideas exchanged and innovation showcased ignite a spark of inspirations in all of you. Once again, I extend my heartfelt welcome, and I hope with your cooperations and contributions, we will be not only able to protect our heritage, but also build upon it, enhance it, and using the modern science and technology, advance the knowledge which is inbuilt in our heritage and in our traditional sciences.
SHRI has been able to create a dedicated research and development ecosystem in the area of heritage science across the country. Shri Vijay Bhatkar addressed the gathering by web conference.
I'm so glad that today we are meeting to recall the contributions of Department of Science and Technology to the India's culture and heritage, to science, the field of science and technology in India itself. Ever since that decision was taken that we will not forget our ancient heritage, the indelible contributions we have made, that science and heritage had on the conceptualization of science and technology itself, planning for science and technology, ever since the beginning of our freedom. And we have come today over 6 years, funding about 100 projects, 1 century of projects, leaving indelible mark on modern science and technology as it is advancing in the 21st century. On science and technology itself, over the years, we have funded, we can't believe it, over 100, 101 century of projects, making a deep impact on the future of science and technology in India. We'll review, as we see, we'll review the science and technology has left, or the imprints it has left for the planning of the future as we march into the 21st century. Much progress has happened since then, and we have embarked on the most important part is we have embarked on the whole review of these 6 years on planning for the science and technology of the future and how we should look at the future. And we know that India has the most ancient heritage of science and technology, and we have, I think, rightly named it very honorably or respectfully called it the SHRI project. And in the process, we have funded. I think very proud that we have funded our most important, I'm not saying most important, but very important 100 projects, and leaving a deep impression on what the planning of the nation should be done, which will become an example for the future, because India has the most ancient heritage of science and technology in the world, over 200 nations, and this planning is taking it into the new realm of science and technology, like the quantum realm, quantum science and technology, which had the roots in our quantum thinking or heritage thinking, and we are now funding science and technology project in this realm today, I think. And this will open up newer and newer vistas for which we are not imagining even today. This one. What it will impact it will have on the future of India's science and technology, not only the past, which are starting from the atomic energy to today, what we have impacted in information technology. All over the world, India is the leader in information technology. But it has roots in that beginning, ever since we started planning for science and technology. And we run for newer and newer projects. We looked at the most ancient university in India was the Takshashila University, which was very, we were proud that this was the very first university we started in. At that time, I was thinking it was India. If you think of the Akhand Bharat, that history goes to several other countries, maps to several countries of the world, and the history begins from there. And we want to study heritage with those deeper roots and what is its contributions over the years. Now it has impacted us. Our entire programs, we have funded, as I said, we have funded almost 100 projects spanning several domains of science and technology, and is extending further and further. And that's how we have to take India's heritage serious about these contributions to not only us, but also our neighboring countries, the neighboring world, what was then, I think, and all these projects we are considering now as part of contribution to, starting from now, as I said, Takshashila, the most ancient university of the world, and that we have said that we will review and what these contributions have been very shortly, very succinctly, for today's heritage project.
Shri Vaidya Rajesh Katoch, Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, explained about the traditional medicine of India.
When we look at these 5 years of science and heritage research initiatives, I could see one thing, that there is a fusion of science and heritage. Our heritage are largely science. Like if we look at the architecture or ancient art and ancient Ayurveda, all based on some or the other scientific principles. So this initiative actually is establishing or re-establishing the scientific aspects of this heritage. As far as Ministry of Ayush is concerned, it is established, it's a new ministry in Government of India. Only in 2014 it was established with the aim of reviving and promoting the rich knowledge of ancient medical sciences and ensuring the comprehensive development and dissemination of Ayush systems of healthcare. As an integral part of India's cultural heritage, Ayurveda has been passed down through generations of thousands of years. It reflects the country's history, beliefs, and understanding of health, and is recognized globally for its holistic approach of well-being. So there are a lot of R&Ds, when we are here at the platform of SHRI, in the area of Ayurveda and other Ayush systems, we have a lot of R&D, evidence generation. Just to name that, we have Ayush Research Portal is an index of publications of Ayush, all Ayush sciences, and we have indexed 43,000 such publications, which is either peer-reviewed or index journal publications. I will request the esteemed scientists to look at this possibility, because it is usually said that Ayush systems have very good contribution, but they lack the evidences. So this is the answer, that there are 43,000 publications. We have also National Institute of Medical Heritage at Hyderabad, and this Medical Heritage Institute has also a lot of contribution in terms of publication of so many valuable manuscripts into the contemporary languages, and also it has contributed to developing ICD-11 Traditional Medicine Chapter 2 publications of ICD-11 morbidity codes of Ayurveda, Siddha and Unani. So this is like combination or translating the heritage into the science science, this is a very good example. There is a lot of global expansions, and particularly the establishment of WHO Global Center of Traditional Medicine in India at Jamnagar. It's a UN outpost. And also, I would like to mention that we have very good, strong collaboration with DST. We have MOU, and now it is proposed that we will renew that MOU. And there are a lot of activities we have proposed. There are possibilities under SHRI from Ayush. For example, study the scientific principles of Ayush systems, maybe its mechanistic aspects, because we know that Panchakarma works, but how it works. So there are possibility of looking at the mechanistic studies of therapeutic intervention, or analyzing the text using archaeonometric techniques for modern relevance, or offer specialized training for researchers and practitioners. This is also one of the area where capacity building is one of the area where that we can work together, or traditional medicine preparation preservation techniques, or validation of traditional formulations with modern diagnostic technology and technological interventions, or create a digital repository for traditional healthcare systems. There is a TKDL is under the CSIR, is a very great initiative, and more than 1 million formulations are documented. But then therapeutic intervention needs, that kind of documentation, or apply AI. I would like to mention that Ministry of Ayush is leading this AI in traditional medicine initiative under the WHO ICE International Telecom Union joint initiative of AI in health. So there is a vertical of AI in traditional medicine. Ministry of Ayush is leading that globally under this platform, and also developing digital platforms for knowledge dissemination and study ancient tools and formulations. At the end, I extend my heartfelt congratulations again to the Department of Science and Technology for successfully completing 5 years of the SHRI scheme initiatives. As mentioned by Vijay Bhatkarji, 100 projects is not a small thing. Looking ahead, there lies an immense potential for integrating Ayush sciences into the future endeavors. I am confident the collaboration between the Ministry of Ayush and Department of Science and Technology will pave the way for transforming this interdisciplinary collaboration, research and innovation. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
The celebration highlighted the achievements, drive awareness, and provoke scientific pursuit among people about this important initiative. Dr. Ravi Chandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, said,
Indeed, it is a great pleasure to be here as part of this important milestone of 5 years of SHRI. And first and foremost, I congratulate DST for spearheading such an important program to bring the old knowledge to the new services and products. And also, we know that the Indian heritage, it spans over more than thousands of years. I think we start from ancient maths to the modern physics. It is immensely contributed the old heritage knowledge. If you talk about 1,500 years old Indus Valley civilization, it has provided a number of great challenges and opportunity, how the urban planning, how the agriculture things, all these things we need to, how they have developed the technology at that time. It is many things we have to learn from them. When I talk about old whatever the heritage, if we talk about in our field, especially in earth science, you all know that it's already started maybe from the Aryabhatta, and later on it has started with the Varahamitra. Without them, first Aryabhatta started this maths, zero and decimal system. Then later on it has started with the Bhaskara on various items related to calculus. So without calculus, I think our meteorological forecast or ocean forecast cannot be done, because the differential equation starts from there. That is a fundamental. So that is the very important things which always we follow. Right from maybe 5th century onwards, we are trying to follow the decimal system as well as the calculus. That is the important ingredient for us. Later on, it has started now, you all may be knowing that Samudra Manthan, that is also 5th BC, Samudra Manthan, but now we are talking about blue economy. Samudra Manthan is nothing but basically harnessing the ocean, both living and non-living resources sustainably, how to bring the resources to the mankind. Similarly, now we are talking about blue economy to harness the ocean, not only from energy, but also food, water, and also ecosystem health. I mean, ecosystem health means not only ecosystem, the human health, including the medicine, Ayurveda, and everything. So all these 4 things, economy or blue economy, it starts from Samudra Manthan. Many of the new leads has come from Samudra Manthan objective. Even only Samudra Manthan itself, it talks about many things, not only for providing resources in terms of living and non-living, but also many important things as a life, it has been brought out from the old history. You talk about cooperation, collaboration, how Devas and Asuras are as a teamwork work together to bring back the Amrita. And also it also demonstrated persistence and how the efforts to be sustained effort and hard work, how it has been brought out the resources and balancing good and evil, like a battle between Devas and Asuras, how it has been duality nature of each individual that has been brought out, and disguise and deception, and values of wisdom and knowledge, and outcome and rewards, understanding wealth and desires. And mainly it has all brought out the teamwork. So essentially this old heritage, whatever it has been our ancient people have done, there is some meaning. Only thing is now we have to translate that meaning in terms of science. How do we translate that so that we can use the better utility as well as the products and services to the humankind. I once again thank DST for sponsoring various PIs for bringing the old knowledge to the new, and also I am sure that in the coming years much more project will be offered, maybe after the brainstorming, and definitely even Ministry of Earth Science also will be happy to partner with such type of collaboration to bring the old knowledge into the new. With this, thank you very much, and once again I congratulate DST for bringing out this SHRI program. Thank you.
The event was attended by scientists, technocrats, policy makers, and research scholars working in this niche area. Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Union Minister of State Independent Charge for Science and Technology, in his chief guest address remarked,
and as we all know, India is one of the oldest civilizations in the world, and I think none other country has as such a huge and a voluminous repository as we have, nearly 5 million manuscripts, and added to that also the manuscripts on the banana leaves, which means that our interest in academics and research possibly began before the paper was available to take it down. So it's been such a rich and such an ancient legacy. We have 3,696 protected monuments, each of them a scientific marvel, whether it's Konark, whether it's Khajuraho, whether it's Chola temples. But the value of all this and the constructive initiative to synergize our traditional knowledge with cutting-edge technology of the contemporary times actually began, I have no hesitation to say, after 2014. And as all of us sitting on this dais have been researchers who have learned to speak with evidence, I think our biggest advantage was to have the head of the state, someone like Prime Minister Modi, who was simultaneously reiterating his emphasis on traditional knowledge as well as the most modern technology. And as I said, as researchers, we have learned to talk with evidence. I'll just give you 2 or 3 instances. Soon after he became the Prime Minister, within 3 months, he took this resolution to the UNO to have a yoga day, which was accepted by more than 190 countries almost unanimously, and we started having it on the 21st of June every year. And simultaneously, he was speaking from the ramparts of Red Fort in his Independence Day address and calling upon startups. And he gave the call, Startup India, Stand Up India. So you see how he was trying to synergize the traditional knowledge with the most current. And I think that is precisely the way, because sometimes we miss out on that. The second example, as Dr. Kotecha was mentioning, Ayush Ministry was born only about 10 years back in 2014. But the other part of the truth is that simultaneously the Skill Ministry was also born. So on the one hand, you have the Oriental systems of cure healthcare. On the other hand, you have the most modern skills dedicated ministry to take it forward. And similarly, when we talk of Himalayas, on the one hand, he was initiating the renovation, rejuvenation of Kedar Badrinath, made it into a very bhavya destination. And at the same time, it was under him that we were into the aroma mission through CSIR, which gave rise to the Purple Revolution and a new genre of startups called the lavender startups. Similarly, when he was talking of Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam, trying to conjure up your legacy of your commitment to Mother India as well as the mother you were born from, he was also simultaneously talking of environment in the terms of launching hydrogen mission. And when Dr. Ravi Chandran was talking about Samudra Manthan, it was again the deep sea mission which he mentioned. It was mentioned not once but twice by Prime Minister on 2022 and 2023 Independence Day addresses, which is in fact a declaration of the priorities of the government in place. And it was also during these last 10 years that we have tried to also modernize the methods of preservation of our traditional knowledge. In CSIR, we have a traditional knowledge cell, which has now come to be known as Traditional Knowledge Digital Cell. We have digitalized it, and the acronym is TKDL, because the youngsters remember the acronyms better. So when they say TKDL, they do not consciously realize that they are actually retreating themselves to the traditional knowledge. So what I'm trying to say is that we have to use our traditional knowledge as a resource. Like many of us who have done our thesis, we go for reference material to different places, either libraries, of course in my time we didn't have the net facility, or whatever source. This should also be treated as a resource. And if we do so, we do not lose our unbiased approach and then try to use it to enrich our cutting-edge modern technology. And if we are successful in doing so, that will be our exclusive advantage about everyone else, because nobody has this legacy, this treasure of traditional knowledge which India has. And I'm not sure whether how far we have succeeded. Of course, Prime Minister Modi has led us in that direction, but I'm sure we have to go further. But anyway, the work has started on the conservation of heritage sites through non-invasive techniques. We just now saw the digitalization of the Ajanta caves, the restoration of artifacts and manuscripts. I know how many of you are aware in this room that only recently there was, on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the Constitution of India, there was a write-up, incidentally by me, in one of the Delhi newspapers, where we talked about the original manuscript of Indian Constitution being preserved by the National Physical Laboratory, of course, in the Parliament House Library. So that is how, these are some of the instances, that's how we have to use it. And you have to use these as role models instead of getting fixed with something. The pride of a legacy is good, but in order to make it globally acceptable, you have to use it as your enrichment or as an adjuvant to what else you already have. So you have in your possession all the attributes that your counterpart or peer in the West has, and upon that you add on this. Only then you can excel globally and take over them for the Viksit Bharat. When we talk of Viksit Bharat, I usually tend to put across this thought. Let's also scientifically think, how are we going to reach that goal? So now whether it's now climate change, whether it's heritage, and this combination of traditional knowledge and technology also has happened in the last 10 years. Unfortunately, it's not been talked about much, not even reported much. But I'm sure in the days to come, we'll plan out, and that's precisely what we were discussing with Professor Abhay. We'll find out ways how to carry it forward. We have had a number of studies, for example, on prevention of diabetes with yoga. Incidentally, one was also asked for me to be released in this ceremony. But I don't know how far they are acceptable. I'm talking not like as a ministerial chief guest, as one of you. How much is the evidence and indicized? I think one of the most authentic is the one which I had the opportunity not only to be associated with it, but also to release it, was the one prepared by a group of professors from the Universal College Medical Sciences, Delhi, from Grant Medical, Mumbai, where we could actually identify the asanas specifically, name them, and draw the indices how much of reduction. Just something as, again, Prime Minister Modi led us doing, aspirational district, 41 indices. And that was done mostly on pre-diabetics, because India has about 1.1 crore of diabetics, and more than that, almost 1.36 crore of pre-diabetics. So how to prevent that was what was documented in that. And most of the studies earlier showed 18-20%. This was reflecting 40%. So unless we get a publication, and I'm glad the other department, Dr. Rajesh, is not here. We had nephithromycin, the first antibiotic indigenously developed from India. So right from the times of Alexander Fleming, when he came out with the first antibiotic called penicillin somewhere in 1948, which was tried first locally over the wounds of the Second World War injured soldiers, and then got to be used worldwide and got to be known as queen of drugs. After that, all the succeeding generations, whether it was streptomycin, chloromycin, ampicillin, streptomycin, all of them went through trials in other countries. The first time we had the support from the Department of Biotechnology, again the same ministry, and the trial done in Christian Medical College, Vellore. And we succeeded in getting the report published in New England Journal of Medicine. New England Journal of Medicine, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the oldest medical journals of the world. Because there were times when the entire science was being practiced only by United Kingdom. That was a big United Kingdom where the sun never set. Americans came in much later into science. They came in somewhere around middle of 20th century, after 1950s or so. Before that, it was purely the domain of United Kingdom. And you had two major medical journals coming from London. One was the British Medical Journal, one was the New England Journal. So when you find slot in that, and nobody can challenge that there has been any bias or lobbying or any kind of sifarish in getting that done. When you get a publication there, you also get acceptance. No, it's good to say कि साहब मैं उनके जर्नल को क्या मानता हूँ, मेरा अपना कम है क्या? ठीक है, कम नहीं है. But if you have to compete globally, you have to reach out globally. On the one hand, you are saying I will be Viksit Bharat, top of the world globe. On the other hand, you are saying मुझे क्या ज़रूरत है? So we have to convince the world about what we are doing. Does not mean that we don't have our own esteem. Our publications are general. So I think we have to actually now start thinking big. You have to follow global strategies. I was just now telling Professor Abhay, I said we are the best in the world in Gulli Danda. We are the best in the world in Kabaddi. We are the best in the world in archery. But you got to be known as sportsman only when you succeeded in beating Australian cricket. So if you are aiming, if you are seriously aiming and scientifically aiming to reach 2047, you have to follow global strategies. You have to follow global benchmarks. And you have to not only do that, you also have to appear to have done. And to appear to have done, then you have to earn their acceptance. And for that, we have to follow certain methodologies. And I'm glad now we are proceeding in that way. We'll have more of an ecosystem. The artificial intelligence and machine learning are also being used for the conservation, as we saw just now. The virtual repositories. In the recent times, of course, we have tried to integrate the different science institutes in a whole of science fashion. Our Roorkee Institute is offering now techniques for preservation of Konark and Jagannath Temple. Palampur contributed in traditional recipes. In fact, the Ram Mandir had 2 or 3 components from this ministry, which are often not talked about. That's I am saying. For example, during the construction, the CSIR heliborne technology was used to detect what is underlying the water, what else beneath the surface. Then the sun glow of Ram Lalla, again from the DST Institute. Tulips, again from Palampur, they are here. So at least 3 institutes associated with the same ministry, which is sitting over here, have contributed to the making of Ram Mandir after 500 years. And
Thank you.
Similarly, our CSIR Institute in Lucknow, that 108-petal tulip, which did not find mention anywhere in the media, but found mention in Kaun Banega Crorepati. That itself is a testimony to the fact that is a lesser known fact, because Amitabh Bachchan will not dole out 1 crore for a simple question. They found that nobody will be able to answer that. So we have to also devise methods to showcase what we are doing, and showcase it on a wider horizon than just to confine it to the 4 walls of Prithvi Bhavan, even though the Prithvi is large enough. And for that, we need to have an ecosystem where we involve the startups, where we involve the industry. Unless we have vocationally relevant outcomes, we would not sustain. Now, we saw in the stalls some of the beautiful creations they have shown. But they open up with the exhibition and end up with the exhibition. But how to sustain them? You will be able to sustain them only when people come forward to purchase that and help you out. Because ultimately, it's the viability in the terms of revenue. You have experimental movies which nobody sees. But you have Satyajit Ray's movie, which is experimental and at the same time the world audience. So you have to actually reach out to these stakeholders. For that, you please create an ecosystem. We have the Ayush Ministry doing a commendable job. We can create a consortium actually of SNT, DST, Earth Sciences, DBT, Ayush, also archaeology already involved. Because now all these products which have been showcased through the Palampur Institute are being done every month, everywhere. So I think dozens of times I've gone through this. But where do we move forward from here? Not that there is any question mark on the products, but we have not strategized how to carry them forward. So if you develop, that's why I was saying, arrange conducted tours of the college students, the potential starters, the potential entrepreneurs, and then give them an ecosystem, beautiful schemes that Government of India has come up. Now, we were seeing downstairs those tools which are meant for creating ancient, I think that was Tamil Nadu stall, create those small idols, how they are carved out of metal. But where does it go beyond that after showing me? We have a scheme called Vishwakarma, Pradhan Mantri Vishwakarma scheme. Maybe even those who are doing this are not aware of it. So thoughtfully rolled out by Prime Minister, which gives you training in the traditional craft like this, gives you tools, money to purchase the tools. During period of training, you get a stipend. It's not like for training you have to pay. You are being paid to get trained. And it's so, I was so much actually impressed by that, because I had the experience of going through, because for the party work I used to go to UP, Muradabad and all these places where you have those traditional art, bartan banane, and many of the elderly with tears in their eyes would tell me कि साहब ये हुनर हमारे साथ खत्म हो गया, क्योंकि बच्चों में इसमें कुछ आमदन का जरिया नहीं. Here it is that which is make up. It has a vocational value plus legacy value. So while you are retaining the civilizational, the traditional knowledge and traditional legacy, you are also making it a source of livelihood for yourself. That is the only way forward. Otherwise, you keep satisfying yourself, great Sanskriti, but you don't move on. So we can create an ecosystem. That's why I said we can have the alignment of these 4 or 5 departments. Then you have PM Mudra Yojana. I came across a girl, a Sarpanch young, and I said, you must conduct workshops for others as well. She said, I got a house from PM Kisan, a tractor from one of the Kisan schemes, PM Awas, she got house. PM Kisan, she got a tractor. PM Mudra, she got a loan without gratuity. And PM Vishwakarma, she got something else. And she has built up a small empire of her own. And it is there, everything is there on the website. Where Prime Minister has given us a beautiful model of this ecosystem being able to. So we have to just change our mindset and open up to that. If I am able to do so, I think that is the right way to move forward in the direction of the Viksit Bharat. And especially when we talk of moving on to 2047 century India, we also, as I think we have a greater responsibility as those belonging to scientific fraternity, to guide ourselves and also guide the common citizen of the hard evidence-based scientific means to reach that destination. And therefore, I hope we will not feel complacent after what we have done today. This will be a launching pad for more to come. But at least we have started thinking on those lines. That itself is a blessing and something to compliment ourselves. Thank you very much.
Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Head, Science and Heritage Research Initiative, SHRI, DST presented vote of thanks.
As emphasized by Honorable Minister, SHRI is Samagam of Vigyan, Anusandhan and Sanskriti. It is an empathetic endeavor to dive deeper to understand our diverse and distinct heritage that has substantial scientific base. Thus, a plethora of activities have been commenced under this nascent and novel initiative of DST by propelling concerted efforts of S&T fraternity. Many heritage-based technology products that could benefit the community and make India a $1 trillion heritage economy by 2047 are in pipeline. In last 5 years, we have initiated projects of national importance in Ratnagiri, Rakhigadi, Dwarka, Ajanta, Ellora, Hampi, and many more using the tools, techniques, and technology to further engage all stakeholders with our enchanting Sanskriti, Virasat, and Dharohar. A robust R&D ecosystem is now in place in this niche area, which has brought multidisciplinary experts on one platform to work together, thus breaking the silos. It makes us feel proud when researchers from across the country look forward to call for proposals under SHRI Cell. With the commitment that SHRI Cell will further foster engagement in various forms and formats with all stakeholders, on their behalf, I thank from the core of my heart Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, to spare precious time during ongoing session of Parliament and motivate us further with his inspiring address. I do hope that you are happy with our efforts and engagements to match your vision. Our immense gratitude, sir. I am also grateful to Dr. Vijay P. Bhatkar, who despite his health challenges had sent a message on this momentous occasion. Sir, you have always advocated to harness S&T for preservation, protection and presentation of our precious heritage. I am thankful to Shri Rajesh Kutecha ji, Secretary Ministry of Ayush, and Dr. Ravi Chandran, Secretary Ministry of Earth Sciences, for their time and words of appreciation. We would definitely look into the possibilities of convergence under SHRI as suggested by Honorable Minister and as mentioned by Kutesha sir also. Further, my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Abhay Karandikar, Secretary DST, for urging us all with his inspiring nudges all through and his unwavering commitment to this challenging and ambitious program. Special thanks to my colleagues from DST, friends, partners and associates from S&T fraternity, academia and other government agencies for their super support. Last but not the least, I am grateful to my small but smart team who left no stone unturned in ensuring success of this event, highlighting 5 years of achievements of SHRI. Dhanyavad to all. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Some panel discussions, for example, generative AI, AR, VR for heritage preservation, traditional practices for preventive health and overall well-being, etc. were held, in which experts, scientists expressed their views. Some technologies, products developed under SHRI were also launched, such as Kosha SHRI, Encyclopedic Dictionary of Sanskrit, Coffee Table Book Sakshatkara, booklet on Yoga Module to manage diabetes, the Purple Himalaya Floral Tea and Herbal Infusion, etc. With this issue of Science Magazine ends, reading voice Priyanka Kumari and presenter was Dilip Jha.